So you are welcome to Behind the Business with Benedicta, your host. Here with another guest, Remi Ray, the Remi Ray, and we are going to be talking about her business as a neurodivergent business coach, and someone who's been able to make a business around it and make some money. She's going to talk about that, and also all the challenges that have come with that. We're going to be talking about work ethic, etc., etc. So over to you, Remi. Tell me what you do in your own words.
Everything.
Everything. You're a coach.
Yes, I'm a business coach. I am a founder / director of a CIC, which is a community interest company called the Diverse Creative CIC. I'm also the founder of Audacious Arc, which is my coaching practice as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So when you talk about neurodivergent, what exactly does that mean? Because I'm sure many people have not come across it before. I first heard it from you.
Yeah. So you probably will recognize it more if I said that dyslexia, ADHD, dyspraxia kind of fall under that bracket. So if somebody says that ADHD, it means they're neurodiverse. So or dyslexic or dyspraxic.
So is that like the umbrella?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so you do business coaching for people who are neurodivergent?
Yeah, predominantly for my clients are neurodiverse. So I'm also neurodiverse. I got diagnosed at the age of 19 with dyslexia. And so I guess an easy avenue for me because I'm also someone who relates because I have similar struggles. Yeah.
And so for me, Behind the Business and business in general, and of course being an accountant, is all about pushing the idea that business is for everyone, right? And we go through school. You just talked about school now. We go through school and they always ask you, what do you want to be? Lawyer, doctor, nurse, engineer, blah blah blah. So for me, doing Behind the Business and just generally all that I do is all about pushing the fact that business is for everyone, right? And the fact that we should all think about business as another stream of income for ourselves. And so I brought you here today specifically with this neurodivergent arm because even those who would say they don't have a disability think business is hard. Don't get me wrong, it has its challenges, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I'm sure those who are neurodivergent often say to themselves, or have teachers say to them, or maybe even parents, if you're not growing up in a very good home, who say, you're useless, you can't do nothing, blah blah blah. Talk to me about that and how that affects your clients or maybe even yourself.
So actually growing up, people didn't think that I had a something. I call like my dyslexia a difference. I just operate in a different way. So I just try to break it down a bit differently. But because I could articulate myself, nobody thought anything was wrong. Because I was quite savvy, I understood how to position myself. I was well liked. Nobody assumed that anything was wrong. But actually, I knew from nursery that something was very different about me. And it sounds like, how could you know from nursery? But I just knew. I knew something was different about the way that I operated and the way that I thought about things. But obviously, no language at that time. Neurodiversity in itself is new language in 2023. Do you see what I mean? So it was hard because I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Also, I come from a Caribbean background, so I'm Jamaican, right? You cannot come home tell anybody you cannot read or write properly. They're gonna be like, what? So dyslexia also affects people in different ways is one thing that I should say. My dyslexia affects me with my memory. It also affects the way I read. It also affects the way that I write. So another person may have something totally different in the way that the dyslexia affects them. I have friends who have done their PhDs or masters and they're dyslexic. So it really affects people in different ways, which is something I think most people should really know about dyslexia too.
That's true. I think you're right, because when you hear the term dyslexia, you think, oh, it's this or whoever it is that they know that might be dyslexic, they think it's the same. But it's different. So I guess that really goes into how you spend time with your clients, coaching them one-on-one, and
they're all different.
Trying to find out, okay, so what's your niche of dyslexia, and how can I help?
It's not a niche of dyslexia. I think the reason why my clients are predominantly neurodiverse is because I've been open about my experience of being someone with dyslexia, and then I run a business. So for them, it's like I'd rather stay with somebody who may not have any judgment about the way that I operate, and I think it's a level of relatability and comfortableness because a lot of us have carried a lot of shame around our neurodiversity as well, especially in the workplace and so forth and so on, right? So my clients are brilliant. like they're running multiple businesses. Wow. They are trademarking left, right, and center. You know, I'm big on trademarking. They are doing all the things. They just need assistance with like reaffirming that their decisions are right, because most of the time they've been told it's wrong or this isn't right. They've had a lot of rejection. Most of the time I'm holding my clients to account with honesty and truth, and then the strategies and things kind of woven in between that.
And I'm assuming, of course, that because your business is successful, that the clients are seeing a difference from when they were doing it on their own and when they're doing it with you.
Yeah. Right? Like one of my clients my clients just kind of like they never leave. They just like stay hanging around somewhere in the ecosystem, and then they come back, then they go again, they sort themselves out, they go and implement, they come back, they've earned more money. One of my clients the other day was able to increase her income by 20k just from like an hour with me. So I just think
amen to that.
Yeah, fantastic. But a lot of it is just self-validation, self-worth, understanding who you are, all of these kind of things. So,
and the thing is, obviously, yes, we've talked about for neurodivergent customers, but the truth is everybody needs that. Anyone needs that. Whether you have a known disability or not, having a coach, having a support system will always get you further than on your own. Not just having a coach and having a support system, but also having staff, having people that work with you. Let's go there, because we've had these conversations from our computer screens. How have you been able to support yourself with staff and all of that to help you in your business?
Yeah, it is tough. Like, I don't know what people be out here wanting to be paid for, but some of you need to go back home and start again. I'm like, you want to be paid for that? Yeah. What is that? Yeah. Like,
how do you find the staff that you?
It depends. So my current assistant, she is via a Black-owned virtual assistant company. She's fantastic, actually. Big up Lisa, big up Tegamaya and Abby Solo, who runs it, because the best VA assistant that I've had ever. Like, she's really working now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I just got so much trust in her. It takes a long time to build that trust and that rapport with somebody who works very closely with you. But I think when you meet people like Abby, who's very quality driven, you're quality driven, then it kind of matches together. But I'm always looking for initiative. Is a big one for me, because sometimes they be like, I done my work. I'm like,
where is it? Where is
That's the work. Initiative is big for me. I don't want you to be Beyonce. I'm the Beyonce of my company, actually. And so you need to fall in line, Michelle or Kelly, and get on with the other task at hand. Like, we both can't be out here trying to be superstars. I need my staff to want to do the work. I also want them to understand their position, and if they have like a senior position, say for instance like my assistant, I also want her to manage me in some respects. Like, Remi, you can't do this, you can do this. And I think sometimes that's a hard balance.
I've definitely experienced that. I have an amazing assistant at the moment, honestly.
You better not say nothing, because they're in this room.
Well, yes, I have a few. The good thing is I have a few people, so I have different people for different things. So one has helped me with all of this, and the other one has helped me like with the accounting side of my business. And the truth is, it does take time. When we first started, there was definitely hiccups. Definitely, what is this? What have you done? But I think for anyone who's willing to stick at it,
it's endurance, isn't it?
Endure and not just be, oh, this ain't working, or this is hard, I'm out of here. Because the truth is, business is hard. Whether you own the business or you're working in the business, it's not data entry. It's not McDonald's. Here's the meal, here's the burger, and then put it in.
The biggest shift for me though was around mindset. Like, this is not their father's company. They are never going to work as hard as I'm going to work for this company, and I have to be realistic with that. So when my assistant is trying to spend more time doing more things over her hours, I'm like, no, you have to log off. Because then you're going to come to me and say, you can't come to work, right?
Exactly.
You're going to be too sick or overwhelmed.
Here's your bill.
Right.
Which
so I think you have to find a balance. And since becoming a mum, that's really big for me as well now. So I have to manage my time more effectively. I have to be more efficient. I have to delegate more as well, and I have to trust that these people can do the job they say they can.
I think it's so important. For me, I can definitely say in business, I would not have been able to go as far and as big. We ain't nowhere yet. We're still getting there, but
so on a
as
journey,
far and as big. But we wouldn't have been able to get where we are today without the support system, whether that be, other business owners, talking to other business owners like yourself, having conversations like this, and also the assistants and the specialists, the IT specialists, the people who set you up on the back end and all of that. So one thing I always say is that you need to build your business business in a way that it can scale and grow without you. If you're not there, what happens? I remember last year, for the first time ever, I went away without telling my customers, went to another country for like 13 days, and everything was running. Good. No one knew. It was all good. That was the first time in like 3.5 years.
And that's a big deal.
That's major. And since then, I've been able to do that a couple of times. Of course, we have like formal times when we tell people, we are closed, don't message us, we'll message you. But being able to know that my business is not going to crumble, and I want to encourage people, make sure you're not just doing everything. Get the right help, get the coaching, get the VAs, get whatever.
I find that people are scared to invest, and they are crippling themselves from being able to scale or even sustain themselves in business, right? Like, it's £20 or £25 for a VA. Even if you can only afford that VA for the first 3 hours, first 5 hours, whatever it may be.
Build it up.
Like, what are these £5 tasks that you have that are now taking up time when you could have paid somebody else to do it? Literally. Someone going to pay me a couple of grand to come and sit and talk to them, and you're here stressing out about a £5 task. Like, you need to stop. Do you know what I mean? We have to be logical.
And I think it's even anti-business. You can't tell me that you're a business owner and you don't want to invest in that business. For me, it's like two opposites. It's either you are into business and you want your business to grow, or you're not. And if you're not, then why pretend that you are? Because if you say you're going to have a business, you want to make money, you want your business to thrive.
Ask them to buy eyelash.
Trust me, and
that's where eyelash. They will have the wig. They will have the drip.
That's it. When people would say, "Oh, your prices is a bit expensive," but when you were racking up your debt, swiping, you were not calling my name.
Listen.
Now I want to help you get out of it. You're saying it's too expensive, but like you say, they'll be the first people to go and buy Gucci and Prada and what else.
All in good time. And I think that there is a misconception. I think social media has actually like made this even a bigger thing. Like, you can start a business for £100. Yes, you can, but what business is right? And also, what kind of business is starting for £100? You have to be realistic. And I honestly believe very few businesses in 2023 can be started with less than £5,000 investment. I just don't think it's.
But you don't necessarily have to invest that 5k up front.
No, not up front. I think over the time, depending on what you're trying to do. Even a website these days, you can make it yourself, but how long is it going to take you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we need to embrace the early failures. So if it means that, you know, you might fail in the beginning, you've built the site, like, just do it faster.
Exactly.
So spend the money, because you guys are out here on somebody's yacht shaking your Gucci on that, you know, you can't afford.
So let the business grow and get you the money to be able to
and
do
fell quickly, fell quickly.
So let's talk about the 100k grant, or is it 100k over 3 years?
No, I got 300,000 actually. Wow. Yeah, 300,000 for one project.
That's amazing. How did that work? How did you do it? Show us the way.
Listen, so I actually calculated that we've done over 400,000 over the last couple of years, but this one particular project, we were able to secure 300,000. When I tell you, it was hard. Like, I thought my business was gonna crumble. Emergency C-section, looking after my daughter, breastfeeding and all of that. 1 week in, I had to return back to my work because I was like, you guys are about to crash this thing. Let me hold in my stomach on the Zoom. Like, what's going on? And it was, and this is why the realization of, like, nobody's going to work harder than me in my business. So that particular piece of funding came in. We worked on it for over 6 months, me and a consultant, back and forth and and we've done over 400 grand over the last couple of years, which is a big deal.
This is because you're a CIC. So
it's because of a CIC, it's grant funding.
So for anyone who doesn't know, a CIC is a community interest company, and so the whole point of the company is that you're not necessarily there to make profit.
That's not my money.
No, you're not making profit to go on holiday or whatever. The company should be profitable, i.e. you should be turning around money, but the idea is that it's for the interest of the community. And so any money that comes in normally tends to be grants, and you're using that to better the community.
But there's a major shift happening in the industry actually. Like, Black-owned businesses are really struggling in this arena. We can get the grants for projects, but usually when it comes down to core funding, very few funders are willing to release the cash for us to be sustainable.
What's the difference between core funding and the...
Core funding is infrastructure, business, salaries, overheads, things like that. And then project funding is, as said, just for the project, and that's it. And so a lot of Black business owners that are in the social enterprise area, they're struggling. A lot of them are closing doors. You probably see in things online. People are like, oh, my door's about to get get closed because no core funding to support them.
Yeah. And so in terms of the grant, so have you always been able to do, how did you learn, how do you know about these grants? How do you apply for them?
Everywhere.
How does it work?
They're actually everywhere.
How do you find them?
So I just sign up to every single newsletter, and then they just come to my inbox now. Or, you know what, this game is so rigged, and I think not enough people talk about the fact that a lot of organizations get tapped on shoulders by funders as well, and people never really speak about that being a thing. We never got tapped on our shoulder. That hasn't happened to us, but it is a thing that also happens. And when you're like wondering, why did that person get this and that person hasn't, like, they've probably got the legacy, the history, the relationships, and so forth and so on. So grant funding is literally anywhere. You can Google it. They have funds for absolutely everything. If you're a charity, if you're a CIC, even if you're a community group, if you're out there and you're trying for the first time, I would say start with Awards for All. They give up to 10K, and it isn't the hardest thing to get. And you just fill in a form or something like that. Online,
Cool. So amazing. So we talked a lot about being neurodivergent. What about, because I had Bola on last week, and we talked about being a black female in business and in some of these spaces. You just, the reason I want to bring that up, you just talked about, some funders are tapped on the shoulder. They've got, behind the door, shaking of hands and doing deals. How have you found navigating this space as a woman, as a black woman, business? Has it had an effect on your business or not? Have you just...
I think it has an effect, but like not a direct impact on me, because I just don't care enough anymore. I'm just like, listen, do you have the idea? No. Okay, then. Then fund me to do the idea. Because I think if we waste our time worrying about who loves you as a black business owner or who doesn't, I think you'll never take action, because that is the world.
Exactly.
That is the world. Yeah.
And do you know what? Even when you talk about, do you have the idea? I think actually you can even argue that in some ways you can use it to your benefit. Because, for example, if I saw a white male trying to say, I'm here to help the black community. Sorry, you're here to help black women get better.
And you will soon find that is happening quite frequently. They've just got one person in their team that like is black or whatnot, and that's why they say not all kinfolk, or not all skin folk is kinfolk, and it's true.
I guess so. But I guess we need to make these so-called negatives work.
You know what? I will say that my coaching clients have been predominantly black women. So I know that I'm saying something, I'm doing as something, they're seeing as something.
You have the evidence.
Yeah, because it does take black women sometimes a long time to trust. And I think I'm proving, I'm saying what I'm doing, and I think that's really important for other black women to see. And black women spend money with me, and I love that. And then I spend it back with black women.
Exactly. Talking about keeping money within the circle, I think, we definitely as business owners should do that. Any opportunity to serve or to help another black business, trust me, it means so much of a difference than you just going onto the high street or you going with another person. But in the same breath, whilst I'll encourage you to spend with other black business owners, we need to make sure that we're leveling up. We need to come forward with the level of excellence, the level of seriousness, professionalism.
You know what?
That every industry needs. Being on time, responding to emails on time. All of that, because I think sometimes we can be slapdash. And then we wonder why people don't want to do business with us.
Do you know what? Most of my customers are repeat customers, and I think it is because there's a level of professionalism, but also honesty. Listen, sis, where's your money? Like,
this is not free.
Right. And also, we don't engage in anything past an agreement. All my clients know if you work with me, depending on which capacity, non-disclosure agreements are required. I've got a mastermind, right? All those women, because of the sensitivity of what we're speaking about inside of that mastermind, everybody has to sign non-disclosure agreements. So I don't mind coming in a room and talking about this company paying this, because that allows each of us to grow. And I think cultivating spaces where more of us can be really honest and transparent about the struggles, because sometimes people don't know that they're sending emails 5 days later. What? You know what I mean? So
and I did a talk recently, earlier this year, actually with the next person coming on. Anyway, I did a talk at her event, and I was talking about how much we leave money on the table.
We do,
because of lack of systems, or just, again, delayed emailing. Or even, one of the questions I put in that presentation was, can your customer get away with not paying you? If the answer is yes, there is a problem. And for me, I'm really big on payment upfront.
Yeah.
Agreement, like you say, upfront. Document, this is the 5 things you're going to get. We will not do this and we will do this, you know, making sure you have that conversation so that when people
also the paper trail to protect yourself.
Exactly,
right?
the paper trail. As an accountant, that is a big deal because if somebody wants to take me to my, you know, report me to my my body or whatever, I need to be able to, they're going to ask me, okay, so where are the emails? When did you tell them this? And all of that. So, you know, making sure that we are doing things properly in terms of systems, in terms of paperwork, in terms of professionalism. What does your industry require? And I would even dare to say, whatever is the basic, go above it.
You see, so with the coaching space, there's a lot of coaches, like everybody's a coach. Even people, I'm like, girl, you
can't coach yourself.
Not you.
You want to coach someone else.
Trying to take somebody's little coin and you ain't even sorted out yourself. But and for the most part, there's no regulation. And so it's important for me to put my hours in, to perfect my craft. It's important for me to get qualifications where I can that can support what I'm saying that I do. And I'm not talking about you need to have all the qualifications like somebody like yourself, but I'm saying that like if you still are healing from X, Y, and Z and you're trying to teach that, I think that's probably going to be detrimental to your customers. So, you know, there's just a level of reflection that I think is required in this space as well.
100. So as we begin to round up, what is one of the most difficult things that you've gone through in business and how did you overcome it?
So some people know me from the plus size fashion world. That's where my journey began, right? And the biggest struggle that I had was my ex-business partner, who I should say, RIP, she's actually passed away now, right? We didn't connect past the incident, but yeah, just want to pay my respects there. The hardest thing I went through was the fact that I was shut out of my business.
Wow.
Because one, this person was stealing money from the organization. So the trust, so I had given away that trust because we were building this thing out together. And 2, being isolated from something that you birthed can be so soul shattering that it put me in depression for at least, I want to say maybe 2.5 years, like entrepreneurial depression. I didn't want to create. I didn't want to do anything. I was so shocked. And she was another black woman as well. So it took me a long time to start doing business with us again, which like now I would never, you know, I couldn't even think of not doing business with us again, but it left such a bitter taste in my mouth. It took me a long time to kind of like come back from it, and that's why I'm so hell-bent on agreements, non-disclosure agreements, getting your legal bits and pieces in place, trademarks, ownership is really important for me.
How did you get shut out?
All the social media accounts, I couldn't, all the email addresses, I couldn't access and tell people I was stepping down from the business.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything. She shut me out.
And even bank account? Were you not a signatory?
The bank account was dry because she literally was, she was paying her tithes. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious.
From the business
account. Yeah.
And not
I'm driving tests and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, wild.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I've grown past that. That's how the birth of this diverse creative, which is the CIC, was birthed. Now I've gone on to help others and teach others and help them to know what to look out for. Like I've got a client who's now started this whole partnership thing, and I'm like, girl, what you over here doing with these people? Sweat equity, who's doing this, who's doing that? We need to know. Yeah.
And I think, you know, the truth is at the end of the day, as they say, typical, you know, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. I think every failure in business is an opportunity to learn. For me, I'm really big on getting feedback. So if you tell me this is not working or this was not nice, I will actually genuinely try to fix it. You know, I think that we have to make sure that we make the best of every situation. So if it went bad, why did it go bad? What did they do? What did I do? And it's not necessarily about blaming yourself for everything, because the truth is some people are just dirty and they did you wrong.
But I feel like you don't have so much emotion with business. For you, it's just business.
Do you think so?
Yeah. No, that's how you present, because no, I'm not saying you don't care about your business. That's definitely apparent, but I'm saying like you can separate the two. Like this is business and this is X, Y, and Z.
I'm sure my husband might say different.
Probably
I'm sure he will say different, because I think anything you put your time, your heart, your soul into, and I'm sure my assistants will say different when we be on them team meetings.
But that's because you care about your reputation and the structure of the business, right?
And but I actually see what you said as a great compliment, because whilst we might be breaking down behind doors, outside I have to be professional. I'm not gonna come and be crying on my Instagram or crying on my. We need to be business minded.
I agree.
Get the job
absolutely.
done. But no, you are right. I think there is definitely place emotion in business. Like, this is your time. I was saying, the other day I remember during lockdown, literally doing all-nighters, going to bed at like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, waking up, having a quick shower, and then logging on to my 9 to 5. That's time I will never get back. And so everything I have today has been birthed on that time that was taken away.
COVID has catapulted you?
1,000. I'm not regretting, but what I'm saying is I've invested, and so therefore, it is a lot. So if I see it crumble, it's gonna pay.
Something tells me your business will never crumble. Something small tells me it will never crumble.
But yeah, it's all about making the best use, of every situation. If everything's going good, it means you're not learning. Systems
though. I guess if there's nothing else that anybody takes away from this conversation, I think it's important to understand that we are actively investing in systems that support us, so that we can have that better balance of life, so that we can allow the money to come in when we're sleeping.
Exactly.
No more
all-nighters.
Exactly, right? And I think that's important. And I just love what you do, as you know.
Thank you. And I love what you do as well. I like the fact that what you're doing is reaching out to the less disadvantaged people at the end of the day. Not everybody has the opportunity to say that, and talking about that, I'm going to bring up another topic. I said we were rounding up, but talking about that, I want to talk about like the move over from 9 to 5 and then going to being an entrepreneur. I think we just talked about finances, right? You're doing something via a CIC. You're not necessarily getting paid. You can get paid, but you might not be getting paid. And so making sure, how have you put things in place to ensure your bills are paid? You're not naked looking for food.
So actually, while I am a spender or an investor into business, especially into knowledge, I'm actually an avid saver. And I don't think people recognize that. I'm a massive saver. And as you know, I had the S Happens Fund, right? But that's been my buffer. And also, I've not known life without having a 9 to 5. I've always had a 9 to 5. I've just done 2 or 3, 4, 5 things sometimes on top of that. Do you see what I mean? But I know that I'm in a season of betting on myself, and like, I'm going to win.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to win. End of discussion. Yeah. So one piece of advice to the people, anyone in your space or just generally in business, what would you advise them? And
I would say that you are the opportunity. So whatever table you sit at, regardless of if you're begging or not, remind people that you are the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you, Remi. That has been amazing. Can't wait to do it again.
Definitely. I'll definitely come back up.